So in early 2026, something pretty dramatic happened. Germany, a country we've always known for its caution, right, did a complete 180, a super risky pivot. Today, we're going to dig into this massive shift in their foreign policy and figure out what it means for a Europe that's, well, pretty fractured right now.
And it all kicked off with this really stark warning. You've got the brand new Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, up on stage at the Munich Security Conference, and he basically delivers a eulogy for the world as we've known it since World War II. I mean, with just a few words, the stakes for Germany, and honestly for all of Europe, were suddenly higher than they've been in generations.
So what did he even mean by that? The old world is gone. Well, it wasn't just a fancy speech. This was him, flat out, declaring that the rule book for global power, the one that Europe's been playing by for decades, is totally useless now. Obsolete.
Look, Germany's back was against the wall. They were caught in a perfect storm of crises, and it meant that their old strategy, staying in the background, avoiding the spotlight, some people even called it a leadership avoidance complex, that just wasn't going to fly anymore. It was no longer an option.
So, what was the first big wave in this storm? Well, it was the breakdown of their most important alliance. That security guarantee from the United States, the very foundation of post-war Germany, yeah, that was starting to crumble.
Now, you might have heard this word before, Zeitenwende. It means a historical turning point. It was a big deal back in 2022, but honestly, it kind of fizzled out. Not enough political will, too much red tape. The promise was never really delivered. But this time was different. The wake-up call was just too loud to ignore.
And if you look at this timeline, you can see it didn't happen overnight. It was this slow, creeping erosion of trust that just kept getting faster. You go from Merkel back in 2017 saying, hey, we got to do this ourselves, to the big shock in 2025, and then boom, Merz's radical statement in 2026. You can see it clear as day. This wasn't sudden. It was the end result of years of that relationship just fraying at the seams.
Okay, so the security situation was a mess, but that was only half the problem. The challenges weren't just about geopolitics. Just as that American security umbrella was starting to close, a whole other shockwave was hitting Germany's economy right where it hurts. And this one was coming from China.
For decades, the playbook was simple, and man, was it successful. Germany made amazing stuff, China bought it. Easy. But that whole relationship where they helped each other out, that's over. Now it's all about brutal competition. It's a zero-sum game where if one side wins, the other loses.
And nowhere is this pain felt more than in the car industry. I mean, that's the beating heart of the German economy. And when you look at their car exports to China, well, it's not a decline, it's a complete nosedive.
Just look at that number, 66%. Think about that, a 2/3 drop in just 3 years. This isn't just a bad quarter, you guys. This is like watching a wrecking ball take out a core pillar of their entire economy. The consequences for jobs, for prosperity, they're just devastating.
And hey, it's not just about what they're shipping over there. Even inside China, the big German brands are getting absolutely hammered by local competitors. Their slice of the pie, it's shrinking fast. And all those profits they were making from their Chinese partnerships, yep, those are tanking too.
So, naturally, the alarm bells are going off like crazy back home. You've got German trade unions, the very same groups that used to love the China trade, now warning about, get this, deindustrialization. The fear for German jobs is real. You can feel it.
So you've got this twin crisis, right? A security nightmare and an economic disaster. And what does Chancellor Merz do? He steps up and declares, Germany is back. But listen, this wasn't about going back to the good old days. No. This was about the birth of a totally new Germany with a new identity and a whole new role on the world stage.
This chart really spells out the change. The old Germany, it was kind of a reluctant power, right? Focused on business, holding back. But the new Germany is all about cooperative leadership. The idea is to be a first among equals, basically leading the way without bossing everyone around. And there's a new, hard focus on military deterrence and defense.
So how are they going to pull this off? Well, Merz laid out a really clear 3-step plan. Step 1, get the money flowing to the military. Step 2, get everyone on the same page by creating a new National Security Council. And Step 3, start rebuilding all those alliances that have gotten a little shaky because you can't do this alone.
And the key to their new diplomatic strategy is this idea called minilateralism. It sounds complicated, but it's not. Instead of getting bogged down in big, slow organizations, the idea is to work with small, flexible groups of countries that all think alike. That way, you can build agreement and react to problems way faster.
And this isn't just theory, it's already happening. The first places mayors went were Paris and Warsaw, trying to restart that classic Franco-German engine in the Weimar Triangle. But what's really interesting is that they're also looking outside the EU. They're forging a major new treaty with the UK, trying to create a whole new center of gravity for European security.
Okay, so the plan is bold, it's ambitious. But let's be real, Germany's new path is anything but a sure thing. The goals are huge, and you know what? So are the challenges. They're facing headwinds from every direction. At home, you've got political infighting and big companies that don't like this new direction. And outside their borders, an America you can't predict, an aggressive Russia, and that intense economic battle with China. It's a really tough environment to try and launch something this big.
But the choice has been made. Germany is officially off the sidelines. They're finally taking on that leadership role they've dodged for more than 70 years. It's a gamble they pretty much had to take, but if it fails, the consequences for all of Europe could be catastrophic.
And that leaves us with the big, lingering question. Germany is finally stepping up. They're ready to lead. But in a world as fractured as this one, with challenges this massive, the real question isn't just can Germany lead? It's, is anyone in Europe actually going to follow?